When someone considers new Spark as an upgrade from the old version or just buying it as a new bike, one of the most important factors they consider is how easy or hard it is to deal with the integrated headset. And because now I have very good opportunity to showcase you that how it is when you don't have even the bike stuff, I have the fork serviced in Gran Canaria here. Gran Canaria's Gravity Center helped me with the fork service, so thanks a lot for them. First things first, need to be generous with grease on the bearings. By the way, I'm using ceramic speed version of the headset bearings and I made replacement. They worked really great after 8,000 kilometers. Any additional not needed sounds or whatever, so it's proven to be beneficial to install them and use them on the bike. Yet at the same time, it's worth mentioning that not like in original bearings, I was very generous with the grease on them, so that might have made a difference. To speed up the process, I already cleaned everything here, so you can see that those are hanging out on the cable still. What you need to do is to basically add some grease into the frame. I do it because that way the plastic is not just fitting in the carbon, and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom too. So it's kind of a preparation process before we start installing the fork. Otherwise, if we don't do that in the beginning and install the fork, it will just swing around and you won't be able to do it efficiently. I'm going to add the grease into the cups as well. Outside it's not needed. If you are aware about Sparks, you already know that they have headset cups, which based on your preference of the slack has the notches either in front or the back. So first we install the cups at the bottom, and because the fork everything is greased already, we can install it right away. Oops. So the two thicker cables goes on the right side. The other two, which are for shock and the dropper, goes at the top. Now what we're going to do is to install the cup. So depending whether you want a slack version or steeper, you would make those notches accordingly. This is one of the most difficult steps here because you need to grease the bearing and at the same time make sure that as least as possible grease goes on the cables and housings of them. So ceramic speed bearings worked amazingly well. It's worth mentioning that those bearings are not actually ceramic, they are hybrid. Be aware that they are not ceramic as the title says. But they are long-lasting, it is worth considering. I have this updated ring, which is now significantly better than the original one. So the most problematic thing is to make sure that the cables goes inside. The right side it's a bit more complicated because the housings are thicker. The other side it's easier because droppers and shocks housings are smaller. So you install them, push everything down. As easy as it is. This could have a bit more cleaning. I'm using single piece spacer simply because that's the height I want to have of the stack and it works well in my use case. So now the only thing you have to be aware of is to make sure to install this at the proper angle. This part goes at the rear. But at the same time we need to make sure that the thinner goes to the left while the thicker to the right. So we are pretty close. you're pushing down the handlebars, make sure that you don't squeeze the housings. So just spread those housings to the sides when moving it down. That will be it. It is recommended to put slight amount of grease into the side of the top cap. And that is pretty much it. The only thing remaining is to install the wheel, then just have a look whether there is no play in the headset. Tighten this bolt, tighten those bolts equally from one side and from the other at a few turns until it gets more tense, and that will be it. Of course, I will have to also reconnect back the lockout for the fork, as well as install the brake caliper, but that's out of the question for this video and I already have them covered in other ones. So that was it, pretty much fast process of installing the headset, and it's not as complicated as it might have looked like.